And I want to save my previous best one. And then let's see what my Templar's using. It's an 825, 995. That's why I held it. Okay. That was upgrade for boots. Oh yeah, this was a new game, so let's go ahead and look for more visions and get my crystals back. Look at that. I was on the like it's almost down to like nothing. So I need to get my crystals back.
I'm still waiting. Sweet revenge. Need more time.
Yep. So hopefully I get my chest piece today, and then tomorrow I can, well, either later tonight or tomorrow I can push the UE again. Because I just need the ancient chest piece with the 12, well, at least the 11, at least the 11 max discipline.
Feel my wrath.
But you want 12.
Not ready yet. I'm still waiting.
Wow, today's Visions RNG is just not good, huh?
Not ready yet.
Maybe it's time to go do Nephilims instead.
I am returning to town.
Maybe I'll just switch it up to do Nephilims. I need to be more productive than this. This is not productive enough. Let's switch it up. Let's do Nephilims.
Need more time.
I'll just use blood shards for my crystals.
I'm still waiting.
Thank you. Even the Nephilims are giving me legendaries instead of wasting my time
Bleed, you filth.
looking for a vision.
Need more time.
I also want to know what my next double primal is because
I'm
I
still
haven't
waiting.
crafted I haven't skipped a chance of the RNG didn't make me craft a primal first, so the double is still on the list.
Need more time. Not ready yet.
Supposedly. But this is boring.
Bleed, you filth. I'm still waiting.
Well, again, at least I got my boots, so that's always nice. Where am I going? Trying to get. Wow, Look at the mortar trying to reach from the other side. Hello.
Need more time. I'm still waiting. Do you want more? Not ready yet.
Exit.
I'm still waiting. Sweet revenge.
The Rift Guardian.
Uh-huh. Got just enough. Aw, it's 4. I wonder what the next floor is. I'm always,
Need more time.
like, full farming a little too much. Okay. This is a little silly, but I'll do it anyways.
Not ready yet. You won't survive that. Need more time. I'm still waiting. Bleed, you filth! Not ready yet. I'm still waiting. That was just a
Not
taste.
ready yet. Need more time. Not ready yet.
Bleed, you filth!
Need more time. Not enough discipline.
Wow, I actually spent all the weight of the discipline.
Bleed, you filth!
Alright, I don't need that floor.
I am returning to town.
Alright,
The ancients would be proud.
I'm still waiting.
just to double check.
I
Okay,
am returning to town.
okay. Next.
Done.
Are you ready? Say your trial.
Red spiders.
Not ready yet. I'm still waiting. Need more time.
Feel my
still waiting. Not ready yet.
Mighty belt, really?
Need more time.
Bleed, you filth!
I'm still waiting. Need more time.
That was just a taste!
Not ready yet.
Okay. Guess I should have just checked that end before I went here. When I was here.
Need more time.
Okay, nice.
I'm still
Open
waiting.
floor. We'll clear this.
Bleed, you filth!
The Rift Guardian.
Another 4. We'll clear this.
I'm still waiting.
That was just a taste!
Not ready yet.
Feel my wrath!
Need more time.
I hear you.
I'm still waiting.
Bleed, you filth!
Not ready yet. Need more time.
Sweet revenge!
I'm still waiting. Not ready yet.
Do you want more?
Go ahead and be a little greedy and check. Okay.
Need more time.
Lots of clickables here.
Not ready yet.
Vengeance!
I'm still waiting.
Okay, I'm
Need more
build.
time.
check this spot.
That was just a taste. Treasure.
Not ready yet.
I am returning to town.
Right at Cassius, really? Intelligence. 81. Intelligence. Strength lyric. Intelligence flavor time. And it's nice.
Thank you.
Then I can give
Deepest wish. To serve my order
this
valorous.
instead. Yep. That'll work.
I'm still waiting. Need more
Darkness
time.
awaits you.
Not ready yet.
Racers all time, huh? On this.
Need more
Darkness
time.
awaits you. Faint magic radiance can dispose.
I'm still waiting.
Darkness awaits you.
Need more time. I'm
Wow.
still waiting.
How far is this?
Vengeance. Upon
Not ready yet.
we have laid low.
Wow, it's like a never-ending
My wrath.
sewer.
Need
Nice.
more time.
It's like a secret tunnel.
I'm still waiting.
Feel my wrath.
Secret passageway. Look at that. Ah,
Returning to town.
You have proven yourself worthy of your I've got some brand new goods you might be interested in.
okay. Let's continue.
more time. I'm still waiting. Not ready
Your
yet.
fear betrays you.
I'm still waiting. Not ready yet.
You won't survive that.
Need more time. Not ready yet.
Shield.
That was just a taste.
I'm still waiting.
The Rift God has arrived.
Alright. 6, I think.
Need more time.
Clear out this floor. Let's check real quick. Oh, okay.
I'm still waiting.
Vengeance!
Need more time. Not ready yet. Need more time.
There's a powerful foe over there.
Not ready yet.
Alright.
I'm still waiting.
Feel my wrath.
Hey. So I got earlier I crafted a lot of boots and got myself an all resist boots. Ancient one, so that's something upgrade.
Not ready yet.
I just need a chest piece now. Ancient chest piece.
Bleed, you filth.
I'm still waiting. Need more time. I need more discipline.
Darkness awaits you.
I think I'm out of space soon. Yep. Let me
I am
just
returning to town.
clear out first. Ow. Juicer. And then Taurasha gloves as well. Wow. And crit 8 CDR, really? But it doesn't have resist. That's funny. And then might as well make space. Thank you so much. How are you doing? All right. Yeah, I got new boots. Yep. So, the reason why I needed them is because I used to have a armor one, right? And this is 129 all resist. It took a lot though. It was like I don't know, whatever this math is, I didn't like. So yeah, I think that's like my log earlier.
I'm still waiting.
That's how many I crafted in order to see the the all resist
Not
one.
ready yet.
There was one that was like right before it, ancient, that was like 15 multi-shot as well, but it wasn't all resist. It was close. I was like about to like stop
Need more
because
time.
my Veil Crystals was down to like right below 2k, and I was like gonna stop, but then I saw that. I was like, oh, I guess thank you.
I need to go back.
Yep, thank you. Yeah, so I crafted like just under 100.
Your skill has grown.
154. Yeah, I got to get my crystals back. Look at my crystals. I mean, just now it was what, 1,900 something. So I just got like about 180 back so far. So I'm gonna be converting from my reusable parts. I've been clicking all the reusable part stuff. Uh, those effigies and armor
There
racks
is
and
a
everything.
Nephalem surrounding
Why why does this? Well, the music didn't show. Thank you so much. That scared me. That actually scared me. I almost jumped because I was talking about music. I was trying to listen to the music of the cow rift, Nephalem cow rift, and then as soon as you said that, it was timed with my music word, the word music, and then I jumped. Thank you so much.
Not ready
Wasn't
yet.
expecting that. What are you playing? Have you been enjoying this season theme again, I guess, if you've already played it before?
Need more time.
But yeah, I uploaded my recent clears to my
I'm
YouTube
still
site,
waiting.
so you can always check them out. Uh, the UE I did 139 and 140 yesterday, and they should be on the YouTube. Yep, I fell a rank, I think. I was 24, I think, maybe something like that. Was it? Probably not. Around there. So I just need a little bit more to get to the second page. I'll probably try to get to the second page tomorrow.
Need
Uh,
more time.
I mean, I'm taking my time with the UE. You try Impale? Yeah, go for it. Should be no problem. The more you maintain your resource, the easier it is. Oh, open map.
Not ready yet.
Feel my wrath.
Maybe my double primals are on the
I'm
way.
still waiting. Not ready yet.
Darkness awaits you.
For some reason, I thought that my follower wasn't working. The Nemesis.
Waiting.
That was a delayed delayed spawn. I was like,
Time.
is it glitching? Something so strange.
The Rift Guardian has found you.
I'm still waiting.
Alright, let's full clear this place. Since it's an open map. I mean, I've been full clearing a lot actually, but I just have that habit. Relatively new to D3 solo pushing, what is good class for a guy who never really pushed high GR ever? Well, which seasons or what, like, oh, I guess you said new, but, like,
Not ready yet.
are you, like, new, like, this season new? Like, just new? Or have you, like, actually, like, played a little bit new? Because you're new to solo pushing, so
I'm still waiting. Need more time.
because kind of want to know like what class do you, well, I guess what kind of like do you enjoy playing up front or a ranged, like a front line or like a back line, or yeah. Yes, well,
Not ready yet.
I'll check the next floor even though I don't need to check the next floor. Hmm. Okay, I'm tempted.
I'm still waiting. Need more time.
So basically, this season has seasonal themes that are really strong for the Crusader, Monk. Well, Monk first, but um, Monk, Crusader, Demon Hunter. I mean, even the Witch Doctor. At least one of them. So it comes down to like whether you like to play
Not
up
ready
close
yet.
or afar, right? And the Crusader is kind of like a halfway point because you need to dodge a lot. Play some seasons, but always just casual with friends. Okay. So this season, for example, if you like to play like ranged, I would say this multi-shot is nice. Because if you enjoy playing with your friends, right? So you play in group play. This multi-shot build, like, well, when you strafe, well, this season has seasonal powers, right? So for example, you don't normally use the seasonal theme on the necklace first. You normally want to use it on a weapon first or the offhand first because of the multipliers that you get from the legendary power text, right? So, however, this season, for example, for the Demon Hunter, the more prominent power, there's three of them: Strafe, Vengeance, and the Cluster Arrow to change it to a like a very weird, well, it's like a ray of light, kind of turning the Cluster Arrow into like a ray of light instead, so it's really close range instead of an actual like mid range to range kind of sentry playstyle. So it's a close up sentry playstyle. But anyway, the strafe makes the Demon Hunter builds such as multi shot and impale uh different from your usual ones. And if you played season 27, this is basically season 27 recycled, because ever since season 30 they have started recycling seasons. Now I don't know if they're going to add more recycling or they're going to just use the current pool. Some people have been saying that there might be some rumors that they're not going to go further into more other seasonals to add into the recycling pool. but I believe that there's still 21, season 21 and season 16 to add into the pool at minimum. So we will find out if the next time what season it is, whether it's just going to repeat again over the seven, whatever, over the few themes that they've already recycled, or they're going to continue adding a couple more, right? So anyway, this is the multi-shot one. You can farm T16 with this as well. So I'm using the like a halfway point of a T Torment 16 build. This can do Echoing Nightmares as well. So you can just use this T16 build to do your Echoing Nightmares. Now, Echoing Nightmare is basically these things called Petrified Screams. If you played season 26, it helps you with augmenting, right? So anyway, the multi-shot build is a good push build that you can play for the Demon Hunter this season. You can get closer to 150 a little quicker. And earlier I referenced that from your answer saying that you enjoy playing this game with your friends. Well, multi-shot build because earlier if you were watching while you subbed during the time when you subbed or before you subbed you were watching me, you saw that a lot of monsters around me in the range were dying, right? So when you play solo pushing for the UE and Hello Essence build, eventually you need density. That's where a lot of monsters are on the screen. So you want more and more monsters on the screen as much as you can handle, which is similar to playing with your friends, except your friends are invisible during solo pushing or the multi-shot. So you just assume that your friends helped you to gather the monsters where you have to gather them yourself. So you have to keep moving, right? So on Hello Essence, you have to keep moving in order to gain progression at some point because the elite packs have too much health for a build that is more like widespread damage, right? Arrows, like if you watch the movie Hero, for example, 1,000 arrows in the air or whatever, right? So you're not going to hit like a single elite target without help, and the density is your help. So this build needs area damage, for example. So if you like to play in groups, this build kind of simulates group play into your solo gameplay where you want a lot of density, a lot of monsters on your screen, as long as you know how to survive. And I would say the survivability is there. You just need to understand how you can maintain your survivability, and that includes the bracers. So the bracers has the life per hit for each monsters that you're hitting. You gain back life in case you actually drop like your health pool. So this has a good like recovery as well. So I prefer suggesting multi-shot as a way to begin first, and then you can go into the impale build to enjoy the strafe power as well. Because normally demon hunters, the impale build you have to manually impale stuff, right? This season, in addition to your manual impales, the strafe will cast the impales. So it's basically like if you've played the Gears of Dreadland, right? It's basically a Gears of Dreadland 2.0 from the seasonal theme. Yeah. So I mean, even for this multi-shot, it's the same thing. It's the same idea, but I didn't want to like go Gears of Dreadland 2.0, Gears of Dreadland 3.0, and so on, right? But like the impale is basically strafe activated, so then it turns it into God 2.0. Yeah. So I would say if you want to do solo pushing, this UE build is pretty good. People have done some people have done a 150. I know it's very small pool, but that's one. the other one you can play is the monk. So monk this season is the easiest. Okay, it's the strongest. Everyone has done a 150, basically. The whole top 1,000, top 2,000, top 3,000 probably has done a 150. So if you want to do a 150, you play monk. And the build to play is Wave of Light. You can get it done within 1300 Paragon if you know how the build plays. If not, you can get your 150 done by 2000. Like it's between around 1300 to 2000, depending on how well you know the build. Yeah, I guess you give it a try. Never played Demon Hunter before. I was always more of a monk support player. So okay, so I was a monk support like long time ago as well, back in season 4. Uh, back when the high, well, this was before the high regen monk was actually meta in season 5 or 6 that I never played, but I heard that people played high regen like right after. And then after that, it became the Health Globes version instead, and then it became the Little Rogue and Slender version instead of the Storm Shield version. Even though the Storm Shield version still exists initially anyway, for most supports, you start out with the Storm Shield version before transitioning into the Little Rogue and Slender weapons and whatnot. But yeah, uh, yeah, so if you enjoy the monk, you can play the monk as well. The Wave of Light build is the strongest one. It's the LOD Wave of Light. So LOD is the Legacy of Dreams. It's basically a legendary gem that enables you to play like basically no set items except the Blackthorn pants. Uh, well, no set items in the sense of no set bonuses, right? So you can use the Blackthorn pants, and the reason why Blackthorn pants is actually used is because they decided to rework it about maybe 4 or 5 years ago. Instead of needing to use the Swampland Wader pants, the Witch Doctor pants, right, for the elemental damage increase, they actually made the Blackthorn pants to have the elemental damage there. That's why the Blackthorn pants, even though it's a set item, it still works because LOD is for no set bonuses. So technically, we don't really want set items in general, just in case you actually accidentally have a set bonus together. But the Blackthorn Pants is a special rework that they include to help the LOD builds to get um, easier main stat, especially because the Swampland Wader Pants came from the Witch Doctor and it only has intelligence main stat. And so, in order to gain main stat, Blackthorn Pants was a designated from the most obvious back from CM Wiz days. In back in vanilla, you have too much of that during the monk gameplay. Play it way too much. Yeah, see, that's another reason why I didn't want to explain with the monk first, because um if you want to challenge yourself, Demon Hunter push is one of them. And that's why, I mean, it's not the most difficult of this season, but that's the other reason why I started out with it instead of explaining like the easier ones, because then, you know, it trivializes the whole idea of pushing by not challenging yourself a little bit. So with this leaderboard, on Europe anyway, which on Europe sometimes at the top 1,000, it's also pretty competitive. I mean, if you're an NA player, I also used to play NA, but my NA side is full already. With character slot, no more character slots. But what I'm saying is that sometimes some seasons it's interchangeable, but more than most seasons, on the Europe region, um, in comparison to the Americas region, the Europe region top 1000 is about 3 to 5 tiers higher for the top 1000. So so it depends on the certain seasons, but most of the time, if you want to be a bit more competitive, between the two that I mentioned, I haven't checked on Asia side, but like in terms of the top 1000, it's a little harder to even get back on the leaderboard for certain sets. And if you want to go to the top page, for example, on Hello Essence, still has a chance for you to get to 150, rather than competing the easy nonsense of the monk, for example, right? Because everyone, like more than most, they have that to gain paragons, for example. So if you want to give yourself like some motivation, the unhallowed essence, you still have time to, you know, get to the page one if you want to get onto page one. I mean, again, it might take you a little too long to farm back the gear that you would actually need to survive up up onto the page one by then, but there's still room basically for page one because the 150 isn't over. There's only 5 right now. I mean, after I say this, probably some people who have Paragon, they'll just full craft the set and do the 150 now. Yeah, I mean, again, if you want to enjoy the pushing, for example, I can link this that I did yesterday for your easy reference. This is my the push attempt that I did yesterday. This is the one with it's a second try of the GR139. I mean, it depends on whether you want spoilers or not, but I would say in that push attempt, you can get kind of the idea of how you would play if you observe carefully. I did think out loud at some places, but I'm not sure if it's informative enough. That I normally do more information, but I think it's enough for you to learn about it yourself while watching. It's not like babysitting kind of commentary while pushing. So I don't do voiceover like I normally used to. Sometimes I would voice over it because back then I needed to say something more and I would like take my time to voice over it. Whatever I'm saying in that one was what I was thinking during the push attempt. So uh do check that one out. And that video is like the 3 keystones that I spent. The first try was a fail because I mean I timestamped the successful one, but the one before that it had some bad monster types for both the floors, so it ended up being a fail, or like at least I didn't want to entertain the monster types. But this timestamp link that I just gave you is a good idea of a bad map or the bad maps and how to turn the bad maps into your favor, even though obviously the higher you go beyond this, those maps will be even like you don't play them as much anymore, right? So at that moment, I knew how to turn a bad map into an okay map. And so that will give you an idea of the unhallowed essence, whether you enjoy it or not, because you will start looking at the strategy where you would be like, well, I did say in the thing in the video at some point, uh, after the timestamp, maybe like 1 minute into it, I would have talked about a barb having trouble on that map, the spaghetti map. It's called spaghetti because it's spiraling everywhere. Um, with staircases and whatnot, and you can get lost in it. So it's like kind of like a labyrinth, but it's not a labyrinth itself. But so how I positioned myself for the multi-shot um fan of attack, right? The arrows, fan of arrows. You will see that, and then you will see the monster density that I like manually do it myself, right? DIY. Where your friend Barb or your party member Barbarian support or whomever, Demon Hunter as well, would help you gather like that, but you have to do that in your solo. So you can bring in your group play mechanics into your solo with said Untitled Essence. So Untitled Essence is like a group play, but in solo. So you have to like imagine yourself playing as a group, but by yourself. So you have invisible party members. That's why it makes it interesting. But yeah, I think that might give you a good idea of like what you might want to, and need to do.
Need more time.
Fear betrays you.
And to further introduce myself, even though you subbed right away, and thank you again.
Not ready.
To further introduce myself, I love to do gear checks. I've been helping people for a very long time. I've not played every season. I've only played like about 15 full seasons out of the 34, 15 to 16 seasons out of the 34. But I've helped people since back in mid vanilla. So I've been helping people for a very long time. With the gear checks foundationally, and I wouldn't say like high tier, but I know that I help other people get their 150 before myself. So like I don't normally get my 150, but other people get their 150 because other people play more aggressive than I do. Even though I play softcore, I treat each keystone like hardcore. So meaning that I don't like to die. Obviously, nobody does, but some people also say that in softcore, you should push the limit of your character so that you actually deal the damage that you deal all the damage you can, so that offense is the best defense, right? But I actually feel worse when I get, your cheat death procs or something like that. I actually play even worse when that happens. So for me, while I play softcore, every keystone instance is like a hardcore instance as best I can. And so when I gear check people, I um how I help other people is I would visualize the the gear that they have, and then I would give them the feedback of the gear, as well as depending on what they're doing and what the questions they have, I would kind of give them a feedback of how I would feel if I were wearing that gear. So of course I've not played every build in the game, and I'm not a master of all builds either, but I know how to build foundationally, not in the build mechanics sense, but just like the stat lines of each equipment. I kind of have an idea of how to be foundationally strong, especially in defense. And so if you can survive that bit longer, you'll deal that damage. And so when I say that I help other people do their 150, is that they're wasting too much time pushing the limitations of the character too much to where they're dying more often. If they just like step back a little bit and kind of think a little defensive, they can push even more damage because of positional awareness, right? You don't just jump into the fray and then just instantly die. I mean, if you dealt enough damage, sure, but the higher you go, the health pool of the monsters are so high, you can't do that. So you have to like think a little defensive, and all they needed was that little bit of a difference, and then they got their 150. As in a short summary of it, that they, after a while, they managed, because dying also increases death timers, and if you're not at the Rift Guardian yet, you can't use the strategy of revive at checkpoint, right? And so you can't always rely on revive on checkpoint to save your time. If you die too many times, you're gonna lose time eventually. And also, in the situation, like in the screen of, like, let's say there's like 1,000 monsters here. Well, not 1,000, but let's say 50. When you revive, right? The worst part is not the first death. The first part is not the worst, the first rip. It's the one right after. So after you revive, first of all, can you actually safely revive properly, right? And then it causes the chain dying to occur, and that's what hurts the push attempt more than the first rip. It's the chain dying. It's the second death onwards. And going back to myself, is that when I die even one time, for some odd reason, because I'm not a Paragon number, like, enthusiast, so to speak, I don't just like go for 3k Paragon kind of thing, where I don't have that defense and offense as well. But what happens is that, for me, I actually enjoy understanding where I can deal my damage without dying. And so that is the most important for me. When I die one time, it's so punishing. Like, I've lost a rift push, because a rift push is 14:59, right? 14 minutes and 59 seconds. You don't want to play that long of a rift, greater rift, obviously, but it's still a win, because if you never push that high to that limit, right? Let's say a 148. You've never done a 148 ever, but you got a 14:59. You got very lucky. You did as much as you can within the time frame. Congrats, you did it, right? The next time you want to improve it, you can improve it all you want, because now you know what to do, or at least you saw what mistakes you had, maybe, and then you learn from it, and then you improve the time. That's good. But a 14:59 is still a win. Take the win, right? So now, for me, when I talk about like rip and deaths, is that even one death, it has caused me to lose the rift. Like, I ripped halfway through the greater rift, and then on the Rift Guardian, I didn't die at all. My time was like 15:02 or 15:07, and that whole 7 seconds, or that whole 8 seconds, was in fact the problem from halfway during the rift, during the progress of the rift. It, of course, there's probably other mistakes I've had in between, but that one death is like 5 seconds for you to prepare your skills again, right? Before you get max damage output again, you have to ramp up again. And that 5 seconds of ramping up and repositioning is already 5 seconds out of the 8 seconds that I lost, right? And then the 3 seconds could be other kinds of little things as well, positionally, and so on and so on. So I over explained this part about the ripping, but I help other people get their 150 faster than myself. Yeah, so thank you for the sub. Yeah, I appreciate it, and I just, like, I enjoy spending this time um explaining things rather than playing on the screen. I feel that for me, I also want to separate the helping portion and my own farming portion, because if I get lucky for some drops, I actually want to feature the drops or feature what I'm doing rather than the conversation, the side conversation. So it's one or the other. So while my screen isn't moving, uh, I prefer like directly like to be in the conversation instead. And thank you for the follow as well. Oh, it's Alex. I guess I didn't realize that you didn't press the follow button since like the week. Okay, I'm not doing that floor.
I need to go.
I mean, I even floor 3 was an additional floor that I did. I normally like ended up full farming because I like certain floors. Wow. 100 crit hit damage. Sad. Sadly, it doesn't have anything else special. Really? I mean, I guess the game is trying to reward me, but it doesn't have what I want. Now, I can still use it for augmenting, I guess. But the problem is, I don't want to continue losing vitality. I can't keep losing vitality because I have to get 12 max discipline in the secondary for it to be usable. But it's pretty funny that I'm actually finally seeing ancient chess pieces because it's been a while since I've seen one. Wow, a lightning 99, but the stats are not good enough. Is there a good website for the build? Oh, yeah. I can do that. Yeah, I can do that for you. Huh. So you want to scroll down to the variant section? Well, either use the navigation table of contents on the top left and click variants or something like that. And then the variants are basically the Nephalem Rift or bounties, and then speeds, solo push, tabs, and whatnot. So you can kind of get a rough idea between them. So I'm using like a half variant of T16. So I'm using a topaz right now to in order for me to spam smokescreen displacement better. Um, as a very short way to explain it very quickly. Um, but yeah, so you can just use that link there for this build. Now you can also play uh Guardian Jeopardy as well. Guardian Jeopardy is over here if you've not worn it before. Guardian, the Guardian set. Well, I guess my text on the screen is not very helpful there, but um, so Guardian set helps with doubling your stats, equipped stats. So the gear on you, on the right here, everything here, basically the primary stats gets doubled for both your main stat, which is dexterity, and the vitality. So you can actually use Guardian with the UE first, but at some point you don't want to rely on Guardian's version. Yeah, and also starting Demon Hunter is actually like very helpful as well. Of course, uh, again, you said you played certain seasons. I really hope that you've played seasons to where you've uh have had the altar before. So from season 28 onwards, preferably. And yeah, this will help you a lot if you've played with the altar before. The altar will help you with more stuff. Uh, especially this node right here, the one on the second row on the right. It allows you to quickly wear level 70 yellow items. if you just do your challenge rift and use it, and then wait for the next challenge rift to unlock the next part. Yeah, yeah, Alex. He said he like eventually he played a lot of monk before, so he doesn't really want to play monk, which is why I went for the Demon Hunter direction even before he said that